You probably know our next guest from season 13 of The Voice, but if you're super cool, you know her band Plush on your own and are like, what's The Voice? Please welcome Moriah Formica to the show. Hey girl, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
It's not like you found a drummer that's a good drummer that can keep a beat. It's not like you found a guitarist that can play a couple of songs. I mean, you found amazing artists to be in this band.
Blow you away musicians, like people that just, like the first time we heard you sing, that we were like chills immediately, like that voice that comes out of you, you know. But the fact that you found three other girls that are equally as talented is incredible. I mean, that's lightning in a jar. That never happens.
Yeah, I'm very, very grateful. It was almost like this. I mean, everything happened all in once. Like I got, I signed with Surface Management at around the same time, and it was just crazy. It was like, I don't know. It was insane, especially since the pandemic had literally just started, or quarantine had just started around the same time. And so I was kind of feeling like, great, now what am I going to do? There's nothing I can do. My whole entire living is playing live shows. And then this happened. So super, super grateful. I was able to find all these, people and like-minded musicians.
Yeah. And, Anthony and I know that you're super talented, but what's interesting is Anthony is really cynical. He worked at Atlantic Records for a long time. He was an A&R.
Oh, wow.
And he's somebody that will listen to a band and go, yeah, they're okay, or yeah, I see how there's potential here, or nah, this is. He heard you and he was like, this is the next big, like,
this is
I know
it.
that you have a huge following already, but he's like, this is it, like she's going to be the next household name. Like,
wow.
Put it this way, like in a year from now, you would never talk to us.
So we had to get you on now.
Listen, I appreciate that so much. That honestly means so much. That just made my whole night. So I thank you so much.
No, I follow you on Facebook, so I've seen all your videos, and I was telling Cooper, I said, she knows frickin' Dokken. and Cooper's like, I don't even know who Dokken is.
I never heard of Dokken.
And I was like, but she knows it so well that she can nail it. And when I first heard the song start, I'm like, there's no way she's going to be able to sing this like Don Dokken. I mean, you nailed it and killed it. And, to take on a Steel Heart song is crazy in itself. But look how many people have seen that video. It's just crazy. Then I learned that you formed a band and the first song, Hurt. I hate it because it's been stuck in my freaking head for 3 days. It's one of those earworms I can't get out of my head. It's such a good song.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So where did you get, how did you write a song like Hate? Like, where does that come from? I mean, I know that a lot of your music, and I've read before that you've said that it is what it is, but where do you dig down to? Where does that song come from?
It comes from, a really deep place. I mean, really just my soul, that sounds cliche, but I can't even explain it any other way. I mean, it just really comes from my soul. And a lot of songs that I end up writing that are like that one is when I just feel, such overwhelming emotion, and I just feel like there's no outlet for me to get it out. And, I can't escape my head. And, songwriting is a therapy for me. It really, really helps. And then it's even better to think that, you're helping other people by having them hear it and them resonate with the message. And because I know how much that meant to me when I would listen to bands like Korn and Evanescence when I was in like 6th grade, and that really helped me get through a lot of times. So it really comes from a place deep within, and of course from my own experiences in life and relationships and all that good stuff.
So how do you know back then, was it when you heard Evanescence and you said, I think I can sing this? and you sing, because Cooper thinks she can sing and she can't. She's horrible. So
in the shower, listen, Moriah, you've never heard me in the shower.
In the car.
In the shower, you'd be like, I need a backup singer and I need that bitch.
Yeah. So, but
I believe it.
But how do you know that you're not Cooper, but you're this next level singer? I mean, how does that one day wake up and you go, I think I'm a really, really good singer?
Well, I actually, my first instrument was guitar. I started playing guitar around 5 or 6, and it wasn't until about 9 or 10 that I
5 or 6? Oh my Lord.
Cooper, she's online playing a Van Halen song right now on guitar. It's got like 250,000 likes on it already. So she's crazy talented.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, I didn't realize until about 9 or 10 that I could sing. And because I loved, singing along to stuff. Like, I love to sing. It's just I didn't, when you're a kid, or at least when I was a kid, I wasn't sitting there going, wow, like, listen to my voice. I can sing. Like, do you know what I mean?
Right.
I just was singing. I just was singing because I loved, I just loved it, and it was a form of expression for me. But the moment that it clicked was when I was at my cousin's graduation party, and my friend was like, hey, let's do karaoke. And I'm like, no, okay. I didn't really say much when I was a kid. And she was like, let's do Rolling in the Deep by Adele. And I was like, okay, yeah, I like that song. So we just started singing.
You're gonna attack that song. That's the first song you're gonna sing in front of people. What was Amy Winehouse not on the list that night to pick?
Oh, I love Amy Winehouse. Amy came shortly after, for sure. But it was like the next thing I knew was I didn't understand, because her father one of the adults came in and was like, hey, like the food's ready or something. And then they happened to hear a little bit of me singing. And then the next thing I knew, he's like bringing all these people back and my parents. And he's like, hey, come check this out. Your daughter, she could sing this and that. And everybody was just like flabbergasted, because I literally didn't really say anything when I was a kid. Like, I was very reserved. I'm very introverted. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? And I guess from there, I was like, okay, I kind of like this. I play guitar already. Let's see what I can do. And yeah, shortly after I fell in love with Evanescence, and hearing Amy Lee's voice really inspired me to just run with singing, and get voice lessons. And I mean, yeah, that was how I really discovered my voice.
Have you met her yet?
I have not. I really, really hope so one day. I've met a couple of the other players in Evanescence, but I have not met Amy yet.
She did a show with Joan Jett, your old friend, Cooper.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So,
oh, my God. Wait, Moriah, can I tell my story really quick? Okay, so I was working at this radio station on Long Island. It was an alternative station, right? And Joan Jett was like our big artist. Like, she was always there. She did like stuff for us. She was always like, anytime we had any kind of station thing, whatever. And I was like, I don't know, maybe I want to say like I was like 19, maybe 18, 19. I was a kid. And, it was years ago. So she was kind of young too. So they put me in charge of doing all of her sweepers. That's when they come in and she goes like, hi, it's Joan Jett. You're listening to Cooper and Anthony on whatever the station is. Right. So she comes in and she goes, hi, it's Joan Jett. You're listening to Cooper, our resident sex kitten on 102, on, whenever the station was. And I was like, oh, hot. Thanks, Joan. So she leaves.
I would freak out.
I know. I was like, that was amazing. So her manager comes in and said, are you single? And I was like, yeah. Well, Joan wants to know if you want to hang out. Like, she was doing an event that night, and yeah. And like,
shut up.
Yeah, we put her up at a hotel so that he slips me her hotel key. And it's like, after the show, she would like to like hook up. Like, if you want to hang out, like, she's down. So here's her key. Like, you don't have to answer. Like, if after the show you want to go hang out with her, like, that's the key and that's where she'll be. So I called my best friend. I was like, I think I could totally have sex with Joan tonight if I wanted to.
Oh my God.
And she's like, but you're not a lesbian. And I was like, does that matter? Really? I mean, should that matter? I mean,
put that aside for one night. You're like, tonight I am.
I'm gonna have, yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Pay for the stay. Like, if I'm gonna have an experience, shouldn't it be with Joan Jett? And my friend was like, she will eat you alive, like, but not in a good way. Like, you'd be in a corner shaking, like she's don't do it. So my friend talked me out of it, and I chickened out. So I was gonna go. I was like, out of curiosity, let me just go and see what she had in mind. But I chickened out, and instead I just,
my gosh.
Yeah, I gave the key back.
Oh my gosh, that is literally one of the best stories I've ever heard. That is amazing.
One of the best stories of not having sex you've ever heard.
All right.
I regret it. To be honest with you, I regret it. I think I should have gone. I really should have gone. That would have been amazing.
Now, I already know. Now, I know that you love playing live. I mean, that's what you live for when you are a musician like you and the other three girls just love playing live. So take that out of the equation. Which part of this band thing do you not like? Do you not like, photo shoots? Do you kind of hate those videos? Working in a studio, is that hard work? I mean, which part of that would you take out? Interviews?
I really, everything else, like I really love, I love talking to people. I love interviews. I love working in the studio. I love working in the studio. That's like one of my favorite things ever to do. But I guess if I had something that I had liked the least is definitely like photo shoots and little videos and stuff. Just because I'm not like a girly girl, and not that you have to be a girly girl to get photo shoots, but it's very like, tedious, and it's like, Moriah, you're sitting there like,
right.
Okay,
right.
Your chin is right. Like your other chin is sticking out. So make sure that you kind of tuck it into your chest a little bit. So I'm like, oh, this looks good. Yeah. And then it's
how about this? Is this nice? Yeah. Right.
And then it's like you got to figure out what you're gonna wear. Then you're like, oh crap, my makeup smudged. You got to worry about, is now a good time for lunch? Am I gonna smudge my makeup?
Right.
Am I gonna get food all over my shirt? You know what I mean? So I guess those are some of the things that I like the least. I don't love it.
I'll tell you why. It's because you're the genuine article. You're a real musician. Because people that want to be famous, that's the part they like the most.
Yeah.
Because all they want is fame. They don't really care about the other part of it. They don't really care about the music or the being in the studio. They can't wait to get on a photo shoot. So that's another reason why Anthony says, like, you're it, because you really are about the music and connecting with your audience, and you're not in it to be famous, which is not really a goal, because what is that even?
Well, when I was watching the video of you in the studio with the producer, and he was making you do the chorus over and over and over and over again, it was funny because I was actually in the studio when Matchbox 20 did 3 a.m.
Sorry, we name drop a lot.
We name drop, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, but it brought back bad memories of doing that song in the studio because it took all night for Rob to get one line down. It was like 12 hours of him getting one line of 3 a.m. down to where everybody was happy with it. So that kind of brought back exactly what you were going through in the studio.
Yeah, it's definitely pain. It's some of the lines are like painful. It's like I like some songs I've gone through literally like word by word. Like I'm like, hey, can you take out, or it'll be like, yeah, I don't like the S part. I don't like the S syllable in that word, so let's just punch it in. But the rest of the word is fine, and like just stupid little things like that. Or I'm like,
right,
yeah, like I don't like the way I said no. Can you take out no? And they're just like, is it really an important part of the song? I'm like, well, no, but it has to be perfect. So it is painful, but I really enjoy that side. Or at least I enjoyed it with working with Johnny, because it was really refreshing to go into the studio, and he was very like, because I'm very particular about things, and I think way too ahead of myself when I'm singing or recording, and I'm worried about like, oh, I don't want this to sound pitchy, or I don't want this to sound whatever. Like I get a little bit too perfectionist. And so what happens is I end up, singing too pretty or being just too singy, period.
Mhm.
And Johnny really helped me to remember, hey, this is rock and roll. Stop worrying about sounding pretty. Stop worrying about hitting the notes the right way. Sound angry, sound real, sound genuine. Think about how you were feeling when you wrote this song. You know what I mean? Like picture that you're singing to that person right now. Stop worrying. Just get in there and sing the song. And so, although it was a little painstaking going through the same, line 1,000 times, I'm glad because it was a good experience, and it got the best result. So,
you know what's weird? I just met you, and yet you don't seem like somebody that would ever want to be on The Voice. It seems really weird that you chose to be on The Voice because you're like a real musician and you're somebody that you're going to have a career regardless. How did that come about and why did you do it?
Yeah, so I was, first of all, I was 16 at the time. So I just felt, at first I was like, no, I don't want to, you are completely right. I was like, no, these shows don't like rock and roll and there's no way I'll make it and blah, blah, blah. And I thought my dad was joking when he was like, hey, I got an email that offers a private audition for The Voice. Cause I didn't know this, but back then, but they have like talent scouts that go and, like scout people and stuff. And I was like, Dad, that's not funny. Like, all right, come on. He's like, no, I'm serious. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So at first I was like, no, absolutely not. Whatever. And then I started thinking about it and I'm like, I'm 16. How stupid would it be if I didn't do this show at least just for the exposure,
Right.
Because I didn't, when I made the decision, I didn't really go into it expecting this to make or break my career, like unfortunately a lot of people do. Right. I didn't expect, I was going to win and get this giant record deal. And even if I did win, that doesn't really mean anything nowadays, unfortunately. It doesn't mean anything. The shows don't make them like they used to. They don't
Right, that's true.
They don't make the Chris Daughtry's and Kelly Clarksons and Carrie Underwoods and stuff. So I wasn't really expecting that. I just figured, hey, why don't I take this opportunity and run with it and see what happens? And it ended up being one of the best experiences of my life. And it really, really helped me kickstart my career and kind of make a name for myself, and really the number one thing was the exposure. It just got me so many opportunities, because like I always say, it's not, when people say the real work starts when you get off the show, it's true. Like you don't get off the show and people are going to know who you are in your hometown and they're going to be all crazy over you. You're going to feel like a star, but it wears off in 3 months. Then they're like, all right, on to the next season. Who's my next favorite?
Right.
It doesn't last. And so you got to figure out what you're going to do with that exposure and how you're going to use it. And that's kind of how the situation was with The Voice. I would never do a TV show again, ever. But it was a cool experience to have, especially as a teenager.
Except the Grammys.
Right, yeah, no, that's true.
She'll do those.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I just picture you like, when you win your first Grammy, it being like a trivia question for like your fans to be like, what was her first time on television? The Voice. Oh my God, really? Like it'll be the thing that no one knew about you. That they'll be like, she was on The Voice? You're kidding.
Right. But even people now are like, oh my gosh, you were on The Voice, because I look so much different. Like I'm older and I didn't, I had my hair straightened on The Voice, all sorts of stuff. And so it's like, it's totally going to be one of those things where people, it's like one of the on the background things that people are like, wow, I never saw that coming.
All right. So the band is Plush. The new song Hate is out now wherever you buy music. So I guess wherever people buy music now, that's where you get it. that's what I don't even know anything about this new generation of albums and songs and how that works, because when I came up in the record company, we had albums,
Right,
and
right.
now you don't really need to have a whole album. You just have to have singles.
Right.
And so Hate is the new single out now. What's the next single?
We're not sure exactly which one we're going to release next, but we do have a few more singles that we're going to be releasing. They're done. And hopefully we can do like an EP or something before, because I really do want to do an album, but I just want to, we want to wait until, some things are worked out first. And, we want to grow our fan base a little bit more, and then we can come out and give them, the album that they really want.
Right.
But yeah, we can definitely, maybe do an EP, but we're definitely going to be having a lot of singles coming out. So people can for sure expect new music from us.
That's great. Well, you have fans in us, and we'll be happy to just let the whole world know. I mean, not that you need us, but I'm just saying, like, we're huge fans, and you're just incredible, and we're so grateful that you agreed to do our show tonight. Thank you so much, Moriah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
No, because I watch her all the time, so I'm like, this chick's amazing. We have to have her on.
No, but Moriah, that's the beauty of it, because if people ask who your audience is, you just say people with ears, because it's not just people of your generation. It's obviously we're a little bit older than you are. Like, it's people of every generation. Like, your music is just, I think it really transcends, and I think that's what's really special about you.
Thank you so much.
Do you guys get on Zoom and practice? Do you have band practice at home now?
We don't. We actually meet up every once in a while, once all of us are like tested and whatnot, to, play in person. But as far as Zoom and like we don't really do practices on Zoom or anything, because like the sound is so it just like cuts out. It's like it gets to a certain level, and it just cuts out, because I know it's because like I know Zoom isn't like built for that, but if we could find a way to do that, it would be great. so we don't have to literally be like, okay, see you in 6 months. Like,
oh yeah, that's got to be tough. That's got to be tough as a band. I mean, you need to play a couple of times a week at least as a band.
For sure. Yeah, it's frustrating, because like we want to be as ready, for I mean, who knows when live shows will come back, but at least like a live stream concert, we're hoping to do soon. And we want to be ready for that, but with the lack of practices, it's like it's hard, to get super tight and locked in together.
I think by the summer you'll be performing. I think by the summer you'll be doing at least limited shows, or shows where that's. I think enough people will be vaccinated by then. I think you're going to be surprised at how quickly you're going to be back on a stage just rocking out. You know?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, make us proud. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Moriah. Thank you so much for being here. Oh my God, I love her.
Which I told you.